In the dark and uncertain days of the Cold War, when the balance between annihilation and deterrence rested on the razor's edge of nuclear strategy, one aircraft emerged as a symbol of audacious power and technological mastery, the B-1 Lancer. Known by its pilots and crews simply as the Bone, the supersonic bomber was not just another machine of war, it was the manifestation of America's desperate pursuit to outfly, outfight, and outlast its adversaries. Imagine the world in the late 1960s, both the United States and the Soviet Union locked in a silent duel of innovation, each side pushing the limits of what the sky could hold. At that time, the American B-52 Stratofortress was already a formidable presence in the nuclear triad, but it was aging. The U.S. Air Force sought something new, something that could break through Soviet radar, evade interception, and strike with devastating precision. Thus, the B-1 program was born not out of vanity, but out of necessity. Conceived under the banner of low-level penetration and high-speed survivability, it would become one of the most ambitious and controversial military projects in aviation history. From its inception, the B-1 was meant to defy convention. Its design was a breathtaking combination of strength and grace, a long, needle-like fuselage, a cockpit framed for maximum visibility, and most notably, wings that could sweep backward and forward like the shifting feathers of a predator. This variable sweep wing design allowed the Lancer to fly low and slow when stealth was needed, or sweep its wings back for blistering supersonic speed at altitude. This feature alone set it apart from anything in the American arsenal. Underneath its sleek exterior were four General Electric F-101 afterburning turbofan engines, capable of pushing the bomber beyond Mach 1.2, an almost unthinkable speed for an aircraft of its massive size. But beyond its physical beauty lay something more profound. The B-1 represented a new way of thinking about strategic bombing. No longer would heavy bombers lumber through the sky like flying fortresses. The Lancer was designed to slash through defenses, hug the contours of the Earth to evade radar, and deliver nuclear or conventional payloads before the enemy could react. Every rivet and line of its frame told the story of Cold War paranoia transformed into aerodynamic perfection. The journey of the B-1 Lancer, however, was anything but smooth. Its story is filled with politics, setbacks, and resurrection. Initially envisioned in the late 1960s, the program quickly ran into turbulence as technological challenges and escalating costs mounted. By the early 1970s, the U.S. government had to choose between two strategic paths: developing advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles or investing in a next-generation bomber. Under President Jimmy Carter's administration, the B-1 program was cancelled in 1977, deemed unnecessary due to the emerging promise of cruise missiles and stealth technology. It seemed that the Bone would never take flight beyond the prototype stage. Yet history had other plans. As intelligence revealed that the Soviet Union was developing new long-range interceptors and radar systems capable of tracking high-altitude targets, the need for a low-flying, supersonic bomber suddenly resurfaced. In 1981, President Ronald Reagan revived the B-1 project as part of his massive defense buildup. What emerged was the B-1B, a more refined, more survivable version of its predecessor, one that would redefine modern airpower and embody America's commitment to staying ahead at any cost. Once the B-1B Lancer finally entered service in the mid-1980s, it immediately proved that it was more than a relic of Cold War planning, it was a weapon ahead of its time. With an operational range exceeding 7,000 miles and a payload capacity of over 75,000 pounds, the B-1B became one of the most flexible strike platforms ever created. Its radar-absorbing materials reduced its visibility on enemy sensors, while its ability to skim the terrain at 200 feet above ground at nearly the speed of sound made it nearly untouchable. The B-1's cockpit, filled with analog and digital instruments, gave pilots unprecedented control over flight and mission dynamics, even under extreme stress. During training exercises, its performance stunned even seasoned pilots, capable of maneuvers that seemed impossible for a bomber of its weight class. It was no longer merely a machine for nuclear deterrence, it became a multi-role platform, ready to adapt to the shifting demands of 21st-century warfare. Whether delivering precision-guided munitions in Afghanistan or providing long-range support in Iraq, the Lancer proved that old Cold War steel could find new purpose in a world of asymmetrical conflict. But perhaps the true power of the B-1 lies not in its speed or firepower, but in the stories of the people who flew and maintained it. Pilots often describe flying the Lancer as a visceral experience, feeling the airframe vibrate as the afterburners ignite, watching the horizon blur as they plunge low over terrain, invisible to radar. Maintenance crews, known affectionately as bone doctors, worked tirelessly to keep the aircraft mission ready, often improvising solutions for one of the most complex airframes ever built. Engineers and designers who once faced ridicule for their obsolete vision in the 1970s now watched as their creation became indispensable to America's global strategy. And for the political figures who fought for its survival, the B-1 became a living monument to perseverance, proof that innovation, even delayed, could reshape the future. Every mission, every sortie, every low pass over an enemy's radar grid was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. When compared to its rivals, the B-1 occupies a fascinating space. The Soviet Union's answer, the Tu-160 Blackjack, shared its supersonic capability and variable sweep-wing design, but the two aircraft represented very different philosophies. The Tu-160 was larger, faster, and designed for strategic nuclear strikes at high altitude, while the B-1 emphasized flexibility, precision, and survivability at low altitude. Later, the American B-2 Spirit would surpass both in stealth, but at astronomical cost and limited numbers. Even the older B-52, with its subsonic endurance, continues to serve alongside the Lancer, each bomber embodying a different chapter of American strategy. The B-1's legacy rests on its adaptability, proving that technology born in one era can still dominate another through continuous evolution. It bridged the gap between brute force and precision warfare, between Cold War ideology and modern pragmatism. Today, over 4 decades since its first flight, the B-1 Lancer continues to thunder across the skies, a relic that refuses to fade into history. Despite countless upgrades, the core of the aircraft remains true to its original vision, a fast, agile, and powerful symbol of deterrence. While newer bombers like the B-21 Raider prepare to take its place, the Lancer still serves as a backbone of long-range air power. Its future may be uncertain, but its legacy is undeniable. The sound of its engines, the piercing roar that shakes the ground and echoes through valleys, is more than a display of power. It's the heartbeat of a machine that outlived politics, rivals, and even the expectations of its creators. So as we look to the skies and hear the echo of the bone slicing through the clouds, one must ask, how does a machine designed for the apocalypse become a symbol of endurance and adaptability? And perhaps, in a world where warfare constantly evolves, will there ever be another aircraft that combines the B-1 Lancer's raw speed, elegance, and spirit? Tell us what you think. Has the B-1 earned its place as the most iconic supersonic bomber of all time, or is it a relic waiting for its final flight into history?